The dark side of Diddy, allegations, lawsuits, and the fall of a mogul. In the world of entertainment, few names are as synonymous with success and influence as Sean Diddy Combs. Over the years, Diddy has cemented his legacy as one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, with a net worth reaching an estimated $1 billion by 2022. Yet as his empire expanded, so too did the shadows lurking behind it. Once a symbol of success, ambition, and innovation, Diddy now faces allegations that threaten to unravel everything he built. Diddy's story, like many high-profile figures in the entertainment world, is both inspiring and tragic. It's a narrative of overcoming obstacles and reaching the pinnacle of wealth and fame. But beneath the glitz and glamour lies a darker reality, a story of alleged abuse, exploitation, and a powerful man who used his influence to silence victims for years. In this expanded video, we will explore the rise of Diddy from the streets of Harlem to global stardom, the shocking allegations against him, the subsequent legal battles, and the lasting impact of these revelations on both his career and the broader entertainment industry. Sean Combs was born in Harlem on November 4th, 1969, to a modest family. His father, Melvin Combs, was an associate of a notorious drug dealer, and his mother, Janice Combs, worked as a teacher's assistant. Tragically, his father was murdered when Diddy was just a toddler, leaving a lasting impact on his life. Raised by his mother, Diddy grew up in the heart of New York City, a place that shaped his understanding of the world and his ambitions. After attending Howard University for 2 years, Diddy left college to pursue a career in the music industry, beginning as a talent director at Uptown Records. During his time there, Diddy quickly made a name for himself, using his unique vision to shape the careers of stars like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. By 1993, he founded his own label, Bad Boy Records, which would soon become a juggernaut in the industry. Bad Boy Records launched the careers of legendary artists such as the notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Mace. The label became the dominant force in hip-hop during the 1990s, and Diddy's distinctive blend of streetwise charisma and business acumen made him one of the most influential moguls in music history. He expanded his empire beyond music, venturing into fashion with his Sean John clothing line, spirits with his partnership with Ciroc Vodka, and media with Revolt TV. Diddy's influence wasn't just confined to the music industry. His reach extended to multiple sectors of popular culture, and his entrepreneurial drive created a multi-million-dollar empire. He became an emblem of what success in hip-hop and business could look like, someone who defied all odds. By 2000, Diddy was recognized as one of the wealthiest and most influential figures in entertainment. His image as a hip-hop mogul and business visionary was unparalleled. Diddy's success story became a symbol of the American dream, and he was hailed as a figure who had transcended the rough streets of Harlem to become an international business icon. But as Diddy's empire grew, so did his power and influence, and with it, the potential for abuse. In November 2023, Diddy's world began to unravel when his ex-girlfriend and former Bad Boy artist, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit against him. The lawsuit was a bombshell, alleging years of physical abuse, sexual assault, and coercion. Cassie claimed that Diddy subjected her to a cycle of violence and intimidation, including forced drug use and sexual exploitation. Perhaps the most shocking claim in the lawsuit was that Diddy forced Cassie into engaging in sexual acts with male sex workers while he watched and recorded the encounters. This was a deeply disturbing accusation, one that painted a picture of a man who used his power to manipulate and control those around him. The lawsuit also accused Diddy of raping Cassie in her own home in 2018. These allegations were not only horrifying in their nature, but also painted a portrait of a man who had used his position of power to subjugate and harm a woman who had once been close to him both personally and professionally. Cassie, who had been one of the key figures under Bad Boy's banner, was at the height of her career during their relationship, making these claims even more significant. Their relationship had been closely followed by fans, and Cassie was often seen as a shining example of the label's success. The contrast between the image Diddy projected to the public and the alleged abuse behind closed doors made the lawsuit all the more shocking. In response, Diddy vehemently denied the accusations, calling them offensive and outrageous. However, just one day after the lawsuit was filed, Diddy settled with Cassie out of court. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed, but many saw it as an implicit admission of guilt. While Diddy denied the claims, the fact that he agreed to settle so quickly without going to trial left many questions unanswered. This lawsuit would mark the beginning of a wave of allegations against Diddy. It was the first public acknowledgement of the dark side of the Mogul's empire, and it opened the floodgates for others to come forward with their own stories. Following Cassie's lawsuit, other individuals began to share their own experiences with Diddy, many of them detailing similar stories of abuse and manipulation. One woman came forward with a chilling account of being drugged and sexually assaulted by Diddy in 1991, when she was just 17 years old. Another woman alleged that Diddy, along with R&B singer Aaron Hall, took turns assaulting her and a friend after a music event. As more women began to speak out, the allegations started to paint a grim picture of Diddy's behavior, showing a disturbing pattern of sexual and physical abuse. These accounts weren't just about personal misconduct. They were about a network of power and control that Diddy had allegedly built to protect himself and suppress the voices of those he had hurt. The sheer number and consistency of these allegations were striking. It became clear that this was not an isolated incident, but rather part of a broader pattern of abusive behavior that had spanned decades. These revelations sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, as it became apparent that Diddy's power and influence had been used to silence victims and protect his image for years. One particularly disturbing allegation came from a male music producer who claimed that Diddy had sexually assaulted him in 2003. The producer alleged that Diddy had plied him with drugs and alcohol before forcing him to engage in sexual acts. The producer also stated that Diddy had threatened to ruin his career if he ever spoke out about the incident. As the allegations continued to mount, it became clear that Diddy's empire, once built on innovation and success, was now being exposed as a system of exploitation and abuse. For many, these revelations were a stark reminder of the toxic power dynamics that exist within the entertainment industry, where influential figures often manipulate and control those around them to protect their wealth and status. In March 2024, Diddy's legal troubles took a dramatic turn when federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. These raids were part of a larger investigation into sex trafficking allegations, with authorities reportedly seizing a wealth of electronic evidence. Sources familiar with the investigation revealed that Diddy was being investigated under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) Act, a federal law that is typically used to prosecute organized crime. The RICO investigation suggested that Diddy's alleged crimes were not isolated incidents, but rather part of a larger criminal enterprise. Authorities were reportedly looking into allegations of sex trafficking, forced labor, and drug trafficking, with Diddy at the center of the operation. Investigators believe that Diddy had used his powerful position to create a network of exploitation that spanned multiple industries, from music to media. This was the first indication that the legal authorities were digging deeper into Diddy's activities, possibly connecting him to more criminal enterprises beyond the realm of personal misconduct. The RICO charges were particularly significant because they implied that Diddy's actions went beyond mere personal misconduct. If convicted under the RICO Act, Diddy could face serious legal consequences, including significant prison time. The raid also marked a dramatic shift in how the legal system was approaching the case, signaling that authorities were taking the allegations against Diddy seriously and that he was no longer above the law. In addition to the sex trafficking allegations, Diddy faced accusations of forced labor related to his media company, Revolt TV. Several former employees of Revolt TV came forward with stories of abuse, claiming they were subjected to long hours, unsafe working conditions, and little to no pay. Many of the employees described a toxic environment where fear and intimidation reigned. One anonymous former employee claimed that Diddy used his immense power to force workers into compliance, threatening them with violence if they attempted to leave or speak out about their experiences. The employee described the working conditions at Revolt TV as soul-crushing, adding that the company created a culture of silence where dissent was not tolerated. These allegations raised further questions about the ethical practices of Diddy's business ventures. Revolt TV, which was supposed to be a platform for diversity and innovation, was now seen by many as a symbol of the exploitation. The forced labor allegations painted a troubling picture of a mogul who was willing to abuse his employees just as much as he had allegedly abused those in his personal life. As the lawsuits and allegations piled up, several high-profile celebrities were named as part of Diddy's alleged sex trafficking network. One of the most shocking names to emerge was NFL star Odell Beckham Jr., who was accused of participating in Diddy's operations. The lawsuit claimed that Beckham and other celebrities had been used to lure victims into Diddy's orbit, where they were then exploited and abused. Other celebrities, including rappers and producers, were also named in the lawsuits, suggesting that Diddy's alleged crimes involved a broader network of complicit figures. Many of these celebrities have denied the allegations, but the mere association with such a scandal was enough to tarnish their reputations. These revelations cast a shadow over the entire entertainment industry, raising questions about how deep the culture of abuse and complicity really ran. For some, it was a sobering reminder that the entertainment world, often viewed as glamorous and aspirational, was also home to systems of exploitation and manipulation. As the allegations continued to mount, Diddy's empire began to crumble. Revolt TV, once a promising media network, faced boycotts and protests. Viewership plummeted, and many advertisers distanced themselves from the network. Ciroc Vodka, one of Diddy's most profitable ventures, also saw sales drop as consumers turned away from his products. Diddy's brand, once seen as a symbol of success and innovation, was now a symbol of abuse and exploitation. In March 2025, Diddy was formally arraigned on federal charges of forced labor and sex trafficking. The charges marked a dramatic fall from grace for the once untouchable mogul. If convicted, Diddy faced the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison. And that's where the story stands for now. Diddy's empire is in ruins, his legacy is tarnished, and the victims are finally being heard. If you've been following this deep dive into the fall of one of the music industry's biggest moguls, make sure to hit that like button like you're bad boying the competition. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this ongoing saga. Trust me, you won't want to miss a beat on what's coming next.